The Her Business by Design podcast is for female business owners looking for inspiration and ideas on how they can elevate their leadership and level up their business and profits. We explore all aspects of business ownership with a particular focus on empowering women to be strong leaders by providing them with the knowledge to cultivate a positive and productive business culture. So join us, Elaine Richards and Tamara Lloyd, founders of Business by Design Duo, for inspired chats with our favourite female business owners to uncover their journey, tips and ideas to help you in business.
Hello and welcome back to our podcast. It's lovely to see you, Tamara.
Great to see you too.
Another sunny day here in Melbourne.
Yes, kind of.
It's getting there. We're getting closer and closer.
Yeah.
How's your week been?
Had a great week actually. Kicked some goals and we're actually in the process, as you know, of writing a bit of a leadership quiz.
Yes.
And we've been getting some good results on putting that together. So happy about that. But stay tuned. We'll give you some more information on that quiz when it comes together.
It's very time consuming.
Yes, it has been time consuming.
But will be very rewarding.
Yes, it will be.
Where are we at today, Tam? What are we looking at?
Interestingly, I think I wanted to chat today to our listeners a bit about bringing the fun back into their business. And the reason for that, I was having a discussion with one of our clients the other day and she was sort of saying how things are, she's just finding things are a little bit stale in her business. The staff are just going along ho-hum and she just wants to bring a bit of energy back. So we started looking at a few different ideas that might just inspire her to inspire the team. And I thought it might be a good topic for us to share, some of the things that we've done, but also some of the things we've seen other businesses do that it might just ignite a bit of interest or a few ideas for our listeners. And again, it comes back to culture of your business and having a bit of fun in your business, I think definitely helps build on a positive culture and build that real team environment that they're not just doing work when they're with their work colleagues, that there is some fun stuff in there and they get to know them on a different level. So I think there's massive benefits to the business for that. Plus as a business owner, I know there were at times when if we hadn't done anything fun for a little while, you get a little bit complacent, a little bit bored. So it's good for the business owner as well to refresh their energy if they're organising a few fun things for the staff and they
shake it up a bit.
Yeah, 100%. So let's get into it.
Bring the fun to your business.
Yeah.
Let's go. I love this. This is great.
Well, I guess if I might just start some of this stuff that a lot of, I guess real estate offices I think are quite good at this, but I guess every business is different. But the social events, I think social events are a big thing for a business and there's so many different ways of doing this, but a few just fun things that have been done or that we've done would have been probably our cocktail parties. They were more attached to awards nights, so we would do something a bit fancier once a quarter for our awards nights, and depending on every second one we did, so quarterly, every second one that we did was a family-friendly one, so we might do some barefoot bowls. We have talked about the go-karting incident with a couple of broken ribs, but there's go-karting. Be careful of how competitive your staff are.
I think there was 2 staff, Tam, with broken ribs. But anyway, no, look, I think you've got to look at your team and look at where, someone's not necessarily going to love go-karting, but you got to shake it up, you got to mix it up. And
the kids loved it.
Look, some of the things we did, I enjoyed the barefoot bowls, and I think obviously in the warmer months it's great to, come together, and we quite often throw really a barbecue fun. And
barbecue. We'll get some roast chickens and
have a few drinks.
The kids would love it.
It's not something I'd ever done until we decided to do that for our team, but it was well embraced, and I think the team enjoyed that the family could come. But then it was also nice, as you mentioned, for the team to just pause and interact and mingle together and cross over in your departments as well.
100%.
And I think looking at online, I think you promote what you do with your team. We used to do that. And I think sometimes other businesses that didn't do anything, I think the staff were very jealous and envious, I suppose, of how well we did.
Well, I think it all
do these things.
I know this isn't what we're necessarily talking about, but I definitely know that when people came for interviews with us and then they looked at our socials, they'd say, oh, your team looks really great. So it'd be one reason they'd actually choose us over someone else. It's not the reason we necessarily did it, but, you know, it had a flow-on effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that fun, people want to be part of that fun. So
it lifts the spirit inside your business, and I think it can certainly work in your favour for the crossover, as I mentioned before, because, you know, quite often you've got your departments and they don't have the time at work, or they're so focused on work, and they don't interact and take a step and say, hey, how are you actually going? Or, you know, talk about footy or their interests and really gel and connect, I suppose. And I think that can help the office environment, and I think it'd be a better place.
Yeah, and I think you can be strategic about it. For something like, say, Barefoot Bowls with his teams, you could actually set the teams up. So you're putting certain people together that you know are going to click, but that aren't necessarily people that hang out all the time together at work, because you are trying to get them to build potentially relationships within other departments. So that's a good little strategic way of also having a bit of fun, but also having some thought around it, I guess.
But when you're in the thick of it, day to day, Monday to Friday, or whatever the hours are, and you're in the office, we did have a little bit of fun. And we've seen other businesses do quite a few quirky things.
Yes.
I think we can list a few. I think annually the team would get excited about the footy tipping.
Absolutely, footy tipping comp.
It's not for everyone, but, you know, there were certainly the regulars that would be very competitive. We had the cook-offs, master food cook-offs.
Master Chef, yep.
Yeah, Master Chef, yes. We would tie that in with when the show was on, and we would obviously come together, and each of the staff were encouraged to make something. Had to be made. It couldn't be pulled out of a packet. And we would come together in the boardroom and share it, and then we would vote.
Yeah.
And we would award first, second and third. But it was obviously off what
first, second and last.
First, second, the wooden spoon, actually. I think we gave a wooden spoon. But the team loved that, and every year they were like, when are we doing the cook-off? But it was well received, but we tried to make it fit, you know, with who enjoyed what.
Yeah. And you've got to be careful if you're doing things like last, because, you know, you have to award to someone that can handle that, or just don't do it at all.
Very true. Donut Day, I think a lot of people have done that, but look at International Day, or, you know, Chinese New Year. And
also your industry. So I know like there's World Administration Day, and I think there's World Property Day, but, you know, each industry has, you know, days for different people, Receptionist Day and personal assistant day, all those sort of things, you know, you can get involved in as well, and just particularly if you've got someone in your business that you really want to, or a team in your business you really want to celebrate. It's just a nice way of saying thank you without doing a morning tea or something.
We're coming up to the end of the footy season. We touched on footy tipping, so grand final day, and obviously we would dress the front window with the footy colours for the two teams that were in the grand final. We've also got Cup Day coming up, and I know we had one gentleman in our office that loved doing the sweep. So
that was a lot of fun too. And actually he did organise once for us to go to the Yarra Glen races. So that was a staff member that was passionate about it, and he loved it. So he organised anyone that wanted to come, everyone was invited, and then they just paid their way. But we did a lunch. So that was nice, a staff member coordinating something like that, but we got on board to support it and went along in support as well. So I think that was a good way of doing it, and it was fun.
Yeah. Obviously celebrating your staff birthdays, I should say, and whether that's a morning tea or a cake, or again, not for everyone, but.
And it depends how many staff you've got in your team, because if you've got, you know, a lot of staff, it can be that every second day you've got something, or you might just celebrate birthdays once a month, or you might just do a card, you might do a cake and flowers, but you've got to keep in mind it's got to be obviously viable long term, and you need to make sure you're not missing people, and you might do something, you may or may not do something different for the guys and the ladies. So a little bit of thought needs to go into how you're going to do it, and then if you're going to push it out onto socials, again, that you're not missing people. So I think around some of these things there needs to be a process and someone that takes charge of it.
Christmas parties.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah. We would mostly be conservative and do a nice sit-down lunch every year, and we'd throw in a limo. Yes. And I think the team really enjoyed that, but we wouldn't send them back to work that day.
No. I have to say, just on a kind of a funny note, I did note I had a discussion with another business owner. I'm not naming names, but they started following our lead and doing the lunch ones,
Right.
not the dinner ones, because they had a larger team and a few too many people hooked up, and there was a few too many issues the next weeks following. So be mindful of your team. We had a pretty mature team, and we didn't really have those. They weren't really an issue in our office. But if you've got a fairly young team, be thoughtful about what events you're doing, so you don't cause issues you don't want to have to deal with on Monday morning.
Responsible drinking of alcohol.
Yes. So, but the lunches were good, and then the Christmas lunches. We'd go to a winery usually because we're near the Yarra Valley, a winery, and have a beautiful meal. Our team of foodies, most of them, and we like our wine. So that worked well for us. And then often the staff would organise a bit of an after party thing that we generally didn't go to, but that was up to them to sort of organise, and then it was out of work time then.
And I think on the Christmas functions that we had, we would go to a bit of effort putting a nice card.
Thank you card,
setting
bonbons.
The table, and I think the team got used to that and they enjoyed it. And sometimes we would look at whether the venue or we'd hire stuff, and it might be bocce or the outdoor activities, what's the Jenga, the big
different things.
large.
Yeah, we did that once, out at the farm near Rob
Depending
Dolan
on.
And I think 1 year we didn't even have to hire anything. One of the staff found a sprinkler on a really hot day, and that was the entertainment for the afternoon. So, I mean, you've got to have a bit – look, it depends on your team, but we would have a bit of fun. Sorry, Lisa.
I thought we weren't mentioning any names.
Oh, she won't mind.
Movie nights, moving along. Movie nights, we would do them with –
clients, but you could definitely do them with your team.
They would come and they would like the movie, depending on, I think one year we had a dog movie and it was a beautiful movie and all the dog lovers wanted to come. So,
but you could do that just a movie night for your staff and do a dinner and a movie or something like that, particularly if there's a premiere of something good, that's a good way of doing it, and maybe organise some popcorn and, drink or whatever. So I think, and there's lots of the like the gold class cinemas and things like that, depending on your budget. They have little rooms, or you can get, have a few drinks at the bar beforehand, so you can make it a bit more adult-like as well. So there's lots of different ways of doing it.
I also went to a networking function a couple of weeks back, and I loved this idea, and it was putting together with your team, someone pick a Spotify playlist. So you might pick a genre or something, and
or a topic
and how it relates to you, or how you connect to the song, and then you put it together and you share it with your team. It's quite interesting, some of the songs that were mentioned that day. And
it was so everyone nominates a song, don't they? So we went around the table.
Yeah.
And it was different.
Why you connect to that song, or it's not for everyone, but I enjoyed it. And then someone puts that playlist in Spotify and then it's shared. So
it was great.
I thought it was a great idea. Something different anyway.
Absolutely.
Larger ideas, big ideas, Tam.
Yeah, look, I think, depending on the type of business that you have, and if you've had a really big year or you've hit a really good big goal or target or something like that, you may want to go a little bit more extravagant.
Fly your team to Sydney and sail on a big yacht.
Yes. Well, we did kind of do that. That was after a really big achievement, and that took us a couple of years to get to, and I was like, wow, we've actually now achieved that. So this is, we had it hung up around the office and we eventually did it, and that was amazing. Things like hot air ballooning is a great one, and I know some other officers or owners I know that have taken people interstate or whatever and then gone hot air ballooning as part of a bigger thing, or there's the Yarra Valley or the city, you can do it in Melbourne, but everywhere has somewhere. And also retreats away. So I've seen other officers do this where I think we just did it the once. Again, it depends on your team, going back to the issue that I talked about earlier, but overnight stays down at the peninsula or somewhere nice, where it's an hour or two away from home, and you might have a planning day, and then you stay overnight and organise some massages for everyone and things like that. So it might be you don't take the whole office away, it might be a department or something like that that have maybe really done a really good job or just need some time out just to bring them together. That's a good one. But we've also had masseurs in the office.
In the office, we've brought masseuses in, and all the staff, we'd book it. You had to plan it and organise it.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Maybe test out the masseuse before you get them in. We did have.
Don't be mean.
We had one that was fantastic, and then I don't know, it might have been a couple of years ago. We had one, and she was awful. Yeah, I think she was 90. I have nothing wrong with 90-year-olds, but she shouldn't have been doing that job.
It was more just a rub than a massage. So, but anyway,
it gave something for people to talk about.
It did.
It was an experience.
If anything, I think a lot of them had a 15-minute snooze.
Yeah.
But still something I think that the team embraced and enjoyed.
Yes, they were appreciative of it.
Very much so. And other things I think we did or seen other businesses do, health and wellbeing, fitness. You can do cross promotions with your local gym or
Pilates.
Bring in some equipment. I know that asking your team what they would like is interesting, but I know the PM department wanted us to go and get a table tennis board or a dart board or,
which we didn't, but
no, we didn't. But it's also
interesting
to see what ideas they have. So I think it's great to talk to your team. And
one of the best visual things I've seen done was actually our old business coach, Ross Hunter. He last Christmas organised or allowed the team to decorate their desks for Christmas. It was a competition, and then there was a winner. Oh my gosh. And then a lot of it when I was on socials, it was fascinating, and it was they would have had so much fun doing it. And also I think the community got involved. Like they loved it too, like on socials.
I was so taken back by it. I'm excited to see if they do it again this year.
I hope
it's
they do.
Edison McGrath Real Estate in Perth, and
shout
no pressure.
Shout out to you, Ross and Paz.
Yeah. I think I really enjoyed that, and gee, did they have some creativity.
Yeah, one of them looked like a whole gingerbread house, I think. That was maybe the winner.
It was almost as good as the Maya windows.
Yeah, almost. So we would actually, that's the other thing we would do that was a bit of fun, was to do up our window. So we did it for Christmas, and that was the front window if you got a shop window. And because we were on like a strip shop environment, all the kids and people would come down the street, and we had a really good Main Street Traders Association, so they'd run competitions and things like that. So if you do have a Main Street Traders Association of some sort, get involved. I think there's a lot of fun things you can do and people you can meet through that, and get your team involved,
And you're also giving back to your community by doing it that way. I know we had the one year we had the red carpet, and I know Santa was down the street, but we also had a photo booth. So they would come into the office, they'd have their photo taken, and it spat out instantly.
Yeah, and we had all the dress ups, so they could dress up in all Christmas things, and they could bring their dogs in and all sorts. It was fun.
Yeah. I think we did do walking clubs and things like that. I think it's important that you encourage your staff in the middle of the day or at some point to be getting outside and having fresh air. And I think all these little things that you can bring into your business is going to allow your staff to feel appreciated. And I think, we spend so much time at the office or in the working environment that I think you can lose sight of a bit of fun, have a bit of a joke. And I know, we had one gentleman who most days had a dad joke and, lightened the mood.
He did have 6 kids, didn't he?
Yeah, 8, I think, wasn't it?
Oh, a lot.
But I think whatever it is inside your business that you can think about that's going to brighten someone's day, make them have a laugh. They might have had a really tough couple of weeks. How you show up and how you can be present can make such a difference to not one person but the entire business. Because if it's one thing, it spreads like wildfire. Yeah. Like people just get in, and not only then, it can be someone in another office can talk about, I saw this. So I think invest in a bit of fun, bring it back. Life's too short to be not enjoying your environment.
Absolutely, and they don't have to necessarily be expensive ideas also. I mean, some of those are quite expensive, but a lot of them cost nothing, or just a matter of people bringing in a plate of food for morning tea or, for something like that. So there's lots of little things you can do.
Can we talk about the little jokes of turning your computer screen or flipping someone's screen upside down. I know we did that once, and I don't know that I think we struggled to get it back up the right way, but it's
I remember that one.
I'll have to Google it again, but you can do like control something and it actually turns the screen upside down. Or, we've had people that have wrapped.
We're going to have people not listening to this podcast after those ideas.
We've had people that have wrapped every item on the desk in Christmas paper or birthday paper or streamers and balloons for someone's birthday. So, you know what? Get creative, have some fun, and let's try and embrace and bring back a bit more fun in the office or in your work environment, because I think we all deserve a good laugh. Absolutely.
And actually one thing that we did take from another office, the Lara office.
Oh, yes.
We stole one of their ideas, which we love. They probably stole it from somewhere else, but it was the quote board out the front, and the receptionist would do up a new positive quote or a funny fact each morning, and people would actually come past and have a look what was on it that day. But it was also a nice thing for the staff to sort of have a look and go, what's on it today?
Yeah. Or they might say, hey, I found a good one. How about you try this one? But yeah, no.
You just need to find the right person to actually do it that's a bit creative. But
the customers loved it walking by. They'd stop and they'd be like, I didn't know that. Little fun fact. Yeah.
So, but hopefully that gives people a few ideas, or just at least encourages them to, organise some fun stuff for the office and for their team. And, as business owners, you've got to embrace it too and have some fun in business.
Don't be a stick in the mud. No, what are you going to do for me today?
I'll give you a wine after work.
Oh, okay, great.
All right.
I look forward to that.
Okay.
Nice to be with our listeners, and I hope you all have a fabulous day.
Have some fun.
Ciao.
Cheers.
Thank you for tuning in, and congratulations on getting to the end. If you loved this episode, why don't you hit the subscribe button, share this podcast with a friend, and leave a review. Reviews and referrals are the best way to help a small business. If you are interested in downloading any of our free business resources, go to businessbydesignduo.com.au and click on the Business Resources tab. We're Elaine and Tamara, and we can't wait to have you back for our next episode. You can connect with us on socials, Business by Design Duo, or go to our website, businessbydesignduo.com.au. Have an amazing day.